Welcome, dear friends. Today, we invite you on an extraordinary journey into the past, where history is being uncovered right before our eyes. We are standing at the site of an ancient abbey, once a center of faith, knowledge, and medieval life. Now, it is a treasure trove of secrets waiting to be revealed by archaeologists. Who were the monks who lived here centuries ago? What daily routines shaped their lives within these sacred walls? What artifacts lie hidden beneath the soil, preserving the untold stories of the past? These are the mysteries we will explore today. With the help of cutting-edge archaeological techniques, we will piece together fragments of medieval history, deciphering inscriptions, examining ancient tools, and even venturing into the hidden underground structures of the abbey. Prepare to witness history being rewritten as we uncover relics that have been buried for centuries. Each discovery brings us closer to understanding the world of the early Middle Ages. This is Time Stream, and our archaeological adventure starts now.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I'm a student at the University of Reading, going into my third year where I study archaeology. And we're here at the site of Cookham to tell you about its history. So, it settled in the 8th and 9th centuries in the Kingdom of Mercia. So after the death of King Offa in 798 AD, his wife, Queen Cynethryth, moved here and became abbess of the monastery. So it was a really powerful monastery. We have a lot of evidence of monasteries all along the Thames during this time, but we have no evidence past the end of the 9th century. The current monastery is likely to be under the 12th century church, which is Norman. So in this field we have what believes to be the settlement associated with it, as well as the cemetery.
So my name's Gabor Thomas. I'm a professor in early medieval archaeology in the Department of Archaeology at the University of Reading. So we're standing on the site of research excavations here in the village of Cookham in Berkshire on the River Thames. We've been investigating this site this is our third summer season, and what we're investigating is an Anglo-Saxon monastery that stood on this site in the 8th and 9th centuries AD. So what we're revealing in its various elements is an extensive monastic settlement that was one of the most important royal monasteries on this stretch of the River Thames. And the River Thames, in the period that we're looking at, was a political frontier between the powerful kingdoms of Mercia and Wessex. So it was staffed by members of the Mercian royal family, and it was a very important Christian religious centre, but also an economic hub, a place that was actively engaged in trade along the River Thames. So it had lots of different functions: religious, political, and economic. So this particular summer season, we've got two areas under investigation. Up towards the River Thames, we've got what we think is one of the major monastic buildings that stood on this site in the 8th century AD. This is an extensive timber building with internal floors and hearths. So it may have been one of the communal buildings in which the monastic brethren congregated on a daily basis. It's quite sophisticated architecture looking at it and the archaeology that we're uncovering from it. And it's surrounded by streets and yards, roads, quite a lot of infrastructure associated with this building as well. In the other part of site that we're investigating currently, we've got very different archaeology. We're investigating a cemetery that went along with the monastery. So we're excavating burials, Christian burials, that were perhaps part of the wider lay population that lived in this area, because it seems to be a mixed demography of males, females, potentially children. So at this period, monasteries attracted burials from the wider population because there was a belief that being buried close to these religious centres sort of gave you beneficial, it was beneficial for the onward progression of the soul and salvation. So they're going to give us lots of human-centred perspectives on the world of this monastery, people's health, for example, their diet, those kind of perspectives that only really can come from burial archaeology. So the archaeology that we've got here is very complementary in informing us on different aspects of daily life within the monastery.
Hi, my name's Sarah and I work for the University of Reading as a technician, and I specialise in photography and graphics archaeology in general. So what I'm doing at the moment, and what I do a lot of, is photogrammetry, and I teach the students how to do photogrammetry. Right now it's right at the end of the excavation and I'm standing at the edge of Trench 3 and I'm in the process of making a photogrammetry model, which is going to be a final site record of this horizon of the archaeology, and I've been doing that all over the site, in particular with specific features like the skeletons, and it's a way of capturing a 3D image of the excavation or part of the excavation, and it will be hosted on a website called sketchfab.com, which anyone can then access and look at our archaeology as we have posted it up. So I've put quite a few models up already during the course of the dig. So what it involves is taking a series of overlapping photographs. They must overlap by at least 70%, and then you have specific settings on the camera, and those settings are predetermined by the program I use, which is called Agisoft Metashape. So I'm going to do the rest of this trench now. I've already started it, so if you'd just like to watch me in progress, I basically take lots of overlapping photos, a bit like in a very systematic manner. And then a bit I will do some with a drone. So when I do it with a drone, it enables me to do a large area. So I'll do the whole of Trench 1 and I'll do the whole of Trench 3, and I generally do this at the end of an excavation and at various phases during the excavation to capture those horizons in a 3D photographic. My involvement with the field school has started in 1998 when I worked at the site of Silchester, which was our field school for many, many years, from 1997 to 2014 we did Insula 9, and then after that we carried on and opened a new excavation at the bathhouse and the temple site, and I worked there as a field supervisor, so I was teaching students how to dig and how to record the archaeology. So here at the field school my role has changed a bit, and I've specialised in photography.
I'm an archaeologist at the University of Reading, and I've been involved with this dig for the last 2 years. I work as site manager, and that means I look after equipment and the tents and visitor tours and the kind of infrastructure that we need to make sure that the actual dig runs smoothly. The dig runs for 6 weeks, but we do a lot of planning beforehand, ordering equipment, planning what we're going to need, and we start with excavators, big mechanical excavators coming in to take off the topsoil. Then we put in the equipment, then the students and the archaeologists come in and do their work, and at the end we do what's called backfill. The excavators come back again and fill up the trenches that we've excavated with the soil that was there in the first place. And it gets reseeded, and 3 months later you'd never know we've been here.
Hi, my name is Charlie. I'm a student at the University of Reading, second year, going on to placement. Right now we are digging out this section of the trench where we believe there are four burials, 2 definites, 2 maybes. We have a very interesting feature of an intersection hearth, and at the moment we are planning it using tape measures and a grid system.
My name is Zhang. I'm from University of Reading. I'm originally from Malaysia. I'm second year student. So now I'm currently excavating. We are currently excavating the cemetery trench, and we found a lot of quite interesting finds. A lot of animal bones, which indicate the diets in the medieval period, and also some potteries, which is quite nice. I really enjoy digging here with my friends and colleagues.
Hi, my name is Jenny Eaton. I work at the University of Reading. And here at the excavation, I'm the finds manager. So I oversee the students that are learning to excavate and process the finds here. And we have volunteers and replacements and trainees as well. So the finds come in from the trenches. We have trays that are a mixture of animal bone, pottery, and anything that they find within the context that they're digging. When they come to us, we will sort through the trays and try and remove anything that doesn't need washing, whether it's metal or something that might fall apart like shell or mortar. So we'll go through those, and then everybody in finds will wash the finds, and then they're left out to dry. And once they've gone through that process, we will be able to record them by material. So we sort through them and separating and bagging all of the different kinds of finds. Example like this with the animal bone. We have a mixture of bulk finds and small finds. Bulk finds are the large quantities of animal bone that have not been worked, or pottery sherds that are just standard fragments of pottery. But sometimes we get small finds come in which are a bit more special, so we like to record them in a slightly different way, so they're more accessible, easily found.
I'm Josh. I'm a Reading alumni and assistant supervisor in this trench. I currently work in commercial archaeology, and I come out to help in the summers. So this trench, we're coming down onto the earliest Saxon horizon. We've just taken off the last occupation soils, and we're coming down on the post holes which are forming the wooden building which we have running north-south in the trench behind me. So the Saxon building runs up to the gravel road you can see in the trench behind me, and we're extending a trench further north from this road called Trench 3, which is looking for the old Saxon waterfront with the Thames. We're already finding a lot of reused Roman material in this Saxon building, which is a strong indication that they're ripping apart Roman buildings nearby to use to make their own. That includes Roman flue tiles, Roman roof tiles, as well as lots of Saxon finds. So we're finding Saxon pins, really high status Saxon glass, as well as large Saxon storage vessels. All of this is an indicator that this building was in constant use and was a very high status area.
I'm Dara Jones-Reddy. I'm a new graduate at Reading University, and I did archaeology with a placement year. I loved the field school throughout my 4 years so much that I've come back to volunteer at Cookham even after I'm not a student anymore. And what we're working on at the moment is within this area that Josh has just talked about. We've got some really nice occupation layers where things will have been dropped and they're still in situ from hundreds of years ago. And so looking at that kind of thing, those things, it's really interesting, especially the midden pits that we're actually excavating at the moment, which is very much another man's rubbish is our treasure as archaeologists today, because we can see what the things that they're throwing away and all the things that they're disposing of is really interesting to see what kind of societal waste would have been at the time.
My name's Nick Pankhurst, and I'm a trench supervisor for the Cookham project. I'm running Trench 1, which is a trench which is positioned over what we think is a sort of area of buildings, streets, hopefully lots of post holes, structures. We've been, last couple of weeks, we've been cleaning down to the archaeological levels, trying to define the footprint of these structures, and I'm hoping over the next 2 weeks, because we're coming up to halfway through the project, that we will properly define the kind of architectural details of these buildings that we've been chasing out for the last couple of seasons. So last season, our first season, we established an area that we were pretty certain would have been full of buildings, but we're hoping by the end of this season we will get that plan we'll start to find the post holes, the actual ground plan of the structures here, and then by doing that, we'll be able to sort of go back to some of the other features that we've found and sort of work out exactly how they're using the space here. So what I've got in front of me here is our total station. It's a piece of survey equipment, and it's robotic. So at the moment, the total station, which is on the tripod over there, is spinning around, trying to locate the prism, which is at the top of this pole. And as soon as it does that, and it locks onto that prism, it will follow me wherever I go, and I can take points. So I can survey in points, so when we find small finds of interest, we can basically log them three-dimensionally in this piece of equipment, and we can survey around the edges of our trenches, and then once we've got that information, we can drop that into GIS, into computer programs, and we've got that so we can completely three-dimensionally locate all of our features, trenches and finds.
I'm Leonie and I'm a third year student at the University of Reading. Currently I'm excavating a Anglo-Saxon graveyard. There's lots to be found, lots to be learned. We're doing it in an incredibly respectful way, hence why we're not showing any of the remains to anybody. But yeah, we're very excited about what we can learn about.
I am Jonathan Baker and I am an undergrad student with the University of Reading here on Cookham with everybody else. Right now I am sweeping back a potential grave site and pointing out bones and making contrasting graves. After this excavation, I'm thinking of looking into doing commercial archaeology, maybe with TVAS or another company that can be recommended by other students or teachers, stuff like that.
My name's Keith Abbott. I'm currently retired from work, but I'm a part-time student at the University of Reading, where I'm doing a master's in archaeology. So I've just completed my first year of a part-time course, and this is the field school. But I'm also a volunteer with local archaeological societies, particularly the Berkshire Archaeological Society, who's been here at Cookham for the previous 2 years. So I've been involved with this excavation from the very start in 2021. So my role really is of that of volunteer. I'm one of the excavators working in the trenches alongside students and other volunteers. And as I gain more experience through my studies, I'm able to train and assist the university staff in sharing skills and experience with the students. But the thing I really like about this site is the fact that it is almost unique in terms of the preservation of the archaeology of the early medieval era. And it's a site with such a rich history and background, as well as being local to where I live. And it's really great working with the local community and other volunteers, peeling back the layers of history and finding some really cool artifacts from the early medieval period. As well as the remains of some of the individuals who lived here back in the 8th and 9th century, who have enjoyed living in this area of Berkshire as much as we enjoy living here today.
My name's Adam Wilson. I'm currently doing an MA part-time in creative writing. I live locally to the site, and this is the first year I've managed to get involved. I'm one of the volunteers here, and yeah, it's been a really interesting experience in terms of partly learning a load of different new skills, completely unrelated to anything I've done in the past. It's an area and a time in history that I have had a lifelong interest in, and this is just coming at it from a slightly different direction. Archaeology is interesting to me insofar as it gives the detail up about a historical period or time, rather than the sort of the history top-down approach.
Hi, I'm Fedor Kianenko. I'm one of the volunteers on site, and I've spent about 4 weeks now working over in Trench 3, which is this new evaluation trench. It's been opened this year, and it's produced all those fantastic finds from the entire site. It's been an absolute joy to work there. I've only ever really dug once before, so this has been a fantastic bit of experience to really get up close and personal with Anglo-Saxon archaeology. It's a time period that I adore, but I've never been able to get my hands on actual finds from it. So this has been a phenomenal amount of experience, getting really intimate with some of the typical finds from this period, but also more atypical finds from this period. that have been produced on this site because of how well preserved it is.
I'm Phillida Shelley and I'm artist in residence on the Cookham Abbey site, and I create work alongside the archaeologists. So I'm drawing on site, I draw the finds, the people, and how the site is actually changing as they excavate. And I'm inspired by everything that happens here, not just Anglo-Saxon sort of research, but also up to present day, the things that get discarded. All of this inspires the work that I do.
I'm Harry. I'm a first year student here at Cookham. I'm in Trench 1 and I'm working on what they thought was an oven, a bread oven, but as I've been excavating it, they've not found any remains, any soil remains of any burning, anything of the sort, so they've had to change their prediction from an oven to a post pit. I found it really interesting that the soil is the actual focus instead of the stones. It's a massive stone circle, but the stones aren't that important. It just tells you that it exists.
Hi, I'm Mel. I'm a first year student. I'm currently in Trench 1, which is way over that way, and my special find has been a copper hairpin, an Anglo-Saxon one.
As our journey through time comes to an end, we leave this remarkable site with a deeper understanding of the past. The discoveries made here, ancient artifacts in structures, and forgotten stories, bring us closer to the lives of those who walked these halls centuries ago. Yet, archaeology is never truly finished. Every excavation opens new doors, uncovering more mysteries waiting to be solved. Who knows what future digs might reveal? This is Time Stream. See you next time.